Hello, my name is Matthew Nilsson. I'm with Team ALCON, and this is our submission for the Brand North Carolina State Brand Case Competition. Brand position. What should North Carolina's brand position be? Well, and I think like many North Carolinians, believes that North Carolina should start fresh. And what better brand than a start fresh brand from North Carolina? So what should North Carolina stand for? Well, I believe North Carolina stands for opportunity, new ideas and experiences, cooperation, cost effectiveness, optimism. And North Carolina provides some things that are very unique. It provides great community relationships, a fresh, clean environment, and a high standard of living. To me, this says a fresh start. And what's better than a fresh start than to start fresh in North Carolina? So what supports this claim? Well, North Carolina has world-class universities. In fact, the first public university to admit students in the United States was founded and started here in North Carolina. If that doesn't say start fresh, I don't know what does. Also, the first sustained, controlled flight happened in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina with the Wright brothers. That was a fresh start, not just for aviation, but for our country as we became a power with aviation in the country and around the globe. The Research Triangle is one of the most prominent high-tech research and development centers in the United States. And we get to start fresh every day with biotechnology and IT research and development. The largest U.S. military base in the United States is Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is the home of Special Operations and the 82nd Airborne Division. Charlotte is also the second, only to New York City, as being the headquarters of the most financial firms on the East Coast. Workers are also 36% more productive than the average U.S. worker. That's why we're ranked third as the best employees in the United States. And North Carolina is also the leading state in sweet potato production. And who doesn't mind a good sweet potato fry? All these things tell me, and I think tells most North Carolinians, that you get to start fresh in North Carolina. So if we look at some of the comparison analysis, North Carolina is ranked 12th at the top states for doing business. We're only behind Virginia at number 5 and Georgia. Tennessee is close behind us at number 13. But we have to work to get North Carolina back up into the top 10. But without a doubt, North Carolina is a great place for businesses to work, live, and play. When we look at our cost of living, we start to see North Carolina is 23rd. We're about average in the country and about middle of the pack in the southeast states. The thing that really hurts us probably the most is the cost of health care. Although we have some of the greatest healthcare hospitals and research facilities in the country, our healthcare costs are also higher because of it. But if we start looking at long-term impacts for every family, every business, and every company, we start seeing the effect of gasoline. And right now, North Carolina is 36 in the cost of gasoline in the United States. This kind of hurts us when we're starting to compete across the United States and in the southeast region. And one of the biggest issues we have to face is that we have a gas tax of 37 cents per gallon, which is almost 21 cents higher than South Carolina, which is ranked 16th in the country for the average gas price, and predominantly because of the taxes we have on gasoline. So to become more competitive in the future, we probably have to work on getting our gasoline cost prices down so we can be one of the least expensive gas states in the country. Now, we talked about cost of living, we talked about gases, but one of the biggest things is standard of living. And one of the biggest indicators of standard of living is crime rates. And here's where North Carolina is really struggling. We are 33rd in the country when we look at our crime statistics according to the FBI 2012 crime statistics. Virginia, our borders to the north, they're the safest state in the United States. And we have to keep in mind that that number is kind of skewed because of the Washington capital region. Washington District of Columbia is also considered in this calculation, and they're 50th in the United States for least safe areas in the United States. So we look at college affordability. Now this is where North Carolina really starts to make a difference and really starts to lead the pack in the southeast and the United States as a whole. For public two-year universities, we are ranked 4th as least expensive best education for two-year universities, and we're 11th for public four-year universities. Now our private universities are a little more expensive. We're ranked 28th. But compared to some of our other competitors, only West Virginia and Florida are ranked higher than us in public four-year universities at 7th and 9th respectively. Virginia, our neighbors to the north, they're ranked 39th and 40th for education. This is where we get a great competitive advantages against Virginia and South Carolina, our north and south competitors. So when we look at brand position comparison, there's a lot of different ways we can compare our brands. But I like to think of this as one of the more simple ways to look at it. And we look at business environment, which is the most friendly, high, and least friendly, low. And we're in North Carolina, we're towards the upper echelon for most friendly to large corporations and small businesses. Now, education costs, public education, were pretty inexpensive compared to other states. And then you have private education, which is a little bit more expensive. Although North Carolina's private education is comparable to Virginia and South Carolina, the overall impact of both private and public brings North Carolina a little bit less expensive than those two states. And what you can kind of see is you get a general breakdown based on these schematics of different services and different markets that the states kind of are better aimed towards. Specifically, North Carolina is really good towards manufacturing and production. Why? Because we can provide inexpensive public education, and we can tailor that to large companies and corporations because we're a really friendly business environment. Other states like Virginia, they really support government and IT infrastructure in the Washington, D.C. capital region, and that's why they're a little bit more on the private education aspect because of those higher networks that need to be developed for that private education and getting into the government sector. Harvard, although not a Virginia company, is kind of the same along those lines. So what is our unique value? Well, North Carolina welcomes individuals, families, organizations, and businesses looking for opportunities to improve themselves, raise their families, build their businesses, and create long-lasting relationships in a supportive community. From the Atlantic Ocean to the Appalachian Mountains, North Carolina's diverse ecosystem provides adventure and opportunity for all. Basically, you can start fresh in North Carolina. So what's our brand promise? Well, North Carolina promises to deliver an affordable education for hard-working North Carolinian families, seeking to prosper in a strong community atmosphere while designing excellent services and improving quality of life. And that means we have a brand personality of opportunity, optimism, a winning spirit, and strong community relationships. From our research triangle to our business center in Charlotte, North Carolina, we provide lots of different opportunities for tech-savvy to finance-heavy industries. We also have great adventures for the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the Appalachian Mountains. If you like adventure and you like the seas and the oceans, we're the place to be. So what's our brand narrative? Well, whether it's your day, your week, or your year, you can start fresh in North Carolina. Full of adventure, North Carolina provides great experiences from the Atlantic Ocean to the Appalachian Mountains. North Carolinians pride themselves on serving those who serve. As the home of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and the U.S. Army Special Forces and 82nd Airborne Division, North Carolina provides great education and a high standard of living for all those who live here. North Carolina does more than just serve the many military service members and their families. We also provide a family-friendly atmosphere, an amazing healthcare system, and cutting-edge research and technology for the many businesses and organizations that call North Carolina home. Come experience North Carolina. We invite you to visit, stay, and start fresh in North Carolina. So what unique, incredible benefits can we provide? Well, I believe the issue with globalization and the world now is about building loyalty. Loyalty to your brand, loyalty to your employees, loyalty to your community, and loyalty to the company. So what we have to start doing now is building these loyalty programs. And how do you do that? Well, the first part is a Bring Jobs Home program. We got to set up research to identify former North Carolina companies that have moved out of state and gather information on incentives to bring them back home. A good example is Pepsi. The headquarters of Pepsi is in Purchase, New York, but yet Pepsi was founded here in North Carolina, in New Bern. We have the history, we have the culture, and we have a lot of the bottling manufacturing companies here in North Carolina. We should be able to bring that headquarters back to us and build that brand loyalty. Pepsi is a North Carolina company. Let's build that loyalty. So brand alliance is the next aspect. We got to gain brand synergies between multiple different brands in North Carolina and package them together and create synergistic effects so that North Carolina is not just known for a company, but the vast majority of brands that we provide. A good example, NASCAR is sponsored heavily by Coca-Cola. It is their soda that is for NASCAR. Well, let's bring Pepsi back home to North Carolina and match it with NASCAR. We get brand synergies. Pepsi, NASCAR, North Carolina, state of. We can also gain this brand alliance program to create those synergistic effects. Education support initiatives. We can provide highly trained, tailored, and educated workforce for specific North Carolina companies. Partnering universities with North Carolina companies will help reduce their costs in education and training, and it will provide a seamless transition for our college students to get jobs in corporate America. So let's talk a little bit more about Pepsi. It was founded in Newburgh, North Carolina by Caleb Branham. It is a North Carolina company, but yet its headquarters isn't here. Why not? Why can't we bring it home? And why wouldn't Pepsi want to have a Start Fresh relationship with North Carolina? Because what says more than Start Fresh than a nice cool Pepsi? So that's how we have to tie our brand to Pepsi's brand, find some incentives, help with the education, and bring them from Purchase, New York back to North Carolina. That's just one of the many examples of companies that have left North Carolina that we can bring back. And we talk about brand alliance. We have Cheerwine, Krispy Kreme Donuts, The Blue Water, Carolina Coffee, Lance Snacks. We can bring these all together and provide a synergistic effect. Why? Have a Cheerwine and a Krispy Kreme donut. Get a Blue Water and a Krispy Kreme donut. Drink Carolina Coffee, get a Krispy Kreme donut. We have to align these brands together underneath the bigger umbrella of North Carolina Start Fresh brand to get some better brand recognition for everybody involved. Home of NASCAR. Now, what better way to build a brand alliance than with NASCAR? Why don't we have a Team NASCAR car? Team North Carolina. Driven by a North Carolinian, crew chief by a North Carolinian, owned by a North Carolinian, and it has all the North Carolinian brands all packaged together. From Bank of America to new brands we can hopefully bring back to Pepsi, to Le Bleu, to Dunkin' Donuts, to Krispy Kreme Donuts. We can bring them all together so we have one packaged brand. And then finally, that developing specialized partnerships. Taking our engineering programs, working with a Charlotte-based company, formerly Goodrich, but UTC Aerospace, we can develop specialized programs in acoustic materials, composite materials, and structures. Give incentives, give sponsorship, give internships, give scholarships for students who go to those universities so they can transition easily in to corporate America in high-tech research facilities, in financial sectors, in production manufacturing sectors, all the things that support North Carolina companies. And why wouldn't a company want to come back if they know their universities are training students to come work for them? So finally, what is better than this logo concept? It's bold, it's fresh, it's recognizable. One of the biggest criticisms of North Carolina is nobody understands or recognizes your brand. This logo says Start Fresh. This logo says opportunity. This logo says winning spirit. This logo says champion. And that's the brand that we need to take forward for North Carolina. And as you look at a logo comparison, what stands out the most? North Carolina, the new Start Fresh logo, and the new Start Fresh brand. In conclusion, I'm Matthew Nilsson, and I'm proposing that North Carolina adopts the Start Fresh North Carolina brand. Why? Because it's bold. It talks about opportunity, fresh new ideas, and it provides everybody something to look forward to, and it's recognizable. So in conclusion, Start Fresh North Carolina. Thank you.